hype. You know what I mean? Especially if he's a Heisman finalist, people will be like, look, it's happening. We're going to take a gamble on him because he's an elite athlete. If he doesn't work out as a quarterback, we can put him somewhere else anyways.
Right, right. But you mentioned the Kyler Murray, but he's got to have the Kyler Murray like performances, and while
exactly.
good,
he's not doing it. He's not doing it right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to. I mean, he can be a Heisman finalist and everything, but I mean, those NFL GMs, it's hard to overlook 5'8", 5'9" as a quarterback, things like that. I love Derek. I think he's the best thing, one of the best things that's happened to our program in a long time.
Yes.
As far as like the next level goes, I think I just don't know.
Just knowing the little bit of people that I know in NFL circles, like they're going to look at the Pitt tape more than they're going to look at the Louisville tape.
Yeah.
Because he's already has deficiencies, and they're going to see like, oh, okay, well, he's off on throws. These reads are not the best reads he's making. This is why he shouldn't be a quarterback. They're going to look at that more than they're going to look at him throwing for 300 yards on 4 touchdowns.
I agree. I got a very negative response from this, but during the Pitt game, I tweeted the one that he had where his ball was tipped at the line and then picked off. I said NFL scouts are going to turn on this game and they're going to turn it off after that throw. So they're going to be like, I knew he was 5'8" coming into this. Like, no thanks.
They're going to look at that. They're going to look at that throw and they're not going to care about. Remember the long throw he made to Pope on the sideline on third down, Louisville? They don't care about that throw.
They're going to come into there and be like, he needs to prove to me that his height will not hinder him. Then they'll see that ball get tipped at the line, it gets picked off. And they're like, okay, I'm out, Yep. And so hopefully he can fix that next season because I do want him to, he wants to be an NFL quarterback, so I want that for him.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's transition a little to the NFL. Marsh and I are both big NFL fans. We've been doing our NFL gambling picks and it's gone terrible, at least for me.
Gone.
But
it's a horror. And I'm a Cowboys fan, so I hate the NFL this year. I hate it. I know. Yeah. I know, bro.
Well, I'd like to hear your take on just the NFL landscape as a whole. Like, who do you have as the top teams right now? If you had to give me your 3, maybe 5 best teams in the NFL, I'd love to hear what you think. Sure, yeah.
Oh man, you made it.
If you got them, it doesn't have to be in order, but if you got it in order, that's even better.
I don't have them in order, but I will say 3. I'll give you my 5. KC definitely.
Okay.
Tampa, Seattle, Green Bay, and I'm going to throw Pittsburgh in there.
Okay.
Those are probably my 5 best teams. Now, those definitely were not the 5 best teams I had coming into the season.
Yeah.
There was some shuffling around a little bit there. But there are a few teams that are proving what I thought in the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year, I thought Seattle was Super Bowl contender, and I was proud of that.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson is showing why. Kansas City just got stronger. You saw what Tampa Bay is getting ready to do now with Antonio Brown. It is interesting. But yeah, those are my 5 best teams right now. The landscape is kind of weird because, of course, this is a weird year. You got a team like the Titans who didn't practice for 2 weeks and they came out and ran over Buffalo. And then you got teams like Dallas who came in with so much hype. Look how their season is going.
It's Super Bowl expectations. This was gonna be the year.
Well, it was the year for Atlanta too, and it went around.
Yeah, how miserable has it been being a Falcons guy this year?
Here's the thing. While I'm a fan, I've taken the emotion out of the game a long time ago. So wins and losses don't have me punching my television or throwing a beer ball across the room. Like I don't get pissed off at that. So
I write for the Canes, but I still I like to think I have that no emotion because I'm a quote unquote journalist, but I can't do it. I can't sit in games I can't sit in the press box during games. I can't do it, man.
Right. I've taken that out, but definitely, this is definitely a weird year, man, because it's just, I did feel that coming into the season, I didn't have Super Bowl expectations because I had some questions on the defensive side of the ball. But I figured the offense would be good enough to get them 10 wins, get a wild card spot, maybe win a game, maybe win two. You never know. Maybe make a small postseason run. But it's just, I honestly can't say I'm surprised by the way the season went. The Dallas game, I watched the Dallas game and I said to myself, like, this definitely won't push me over the edge because I saw them blow a 25-point Super Bowl lead. Yeah. So them blowing a lead in week 2 against Dallas, I'm like, oh, that's been there, done that. They've done it before. I will say this though, the firing of Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff, well overdue. They should have did it last year, to be honest with you. But,
that GM Thomas, he's been there for a long time, hasn't he?
Yes, 2008.
Holy cow! Yeah.
He's been with two different head coaches. So, I've gotten questions about, did I see Quinn getting fired, but Dimitroff staying? And I said, when have you ever seen a GM go through 3 different head coaching tenures?
Yeah, right.
It happens.
Yeah.
So tied to the hip no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I have a statement that I'm going to give to you, and I want you to tell me how you feel about it, whether you agree or disagree.
Okay.
And my statement is the Atlanta Falcons, more than any other team in the NFL, should do everything within their power to get Trevor Lawrence.
Disagree.
Okay.
And here's why. Even though the season has gone the certain way it has right now, I think what you saw this past Sunday against Minnesota was a small indictment of that this team may just need some better coaching to get over the hump. I think this would be one of the better openings in the offseason because I feel a coach can look at this roster and say, with the right tweaks, I can win now. I don't have to lose for the next 3, 4, 5 years as my team is getting built. I can win right now. I can make the necessary tweaks. I got my quarterback. I got my future Hall of Fame receiver. I got a decent offensive line here. Let me make some tweaks on defense. Let me bring in a competent defensive coordinator, and we can win 10 games so we can be back in the playoffs next year.
Okay.
So that's why I don't think that is the case. Not to mention, it's going to be ridiculously hard to get rid of Matt Ryan and his contract.
Well, do you want me to give you the counterpoint to that? And this is just my opinion. And obviously, I'm not a Falcons fan, so I'm probably not as plugged in as a guy like you is. So take my opinion at face value.
Okay.
For reasons that you said, I do think I agree in that the right coach could win now. But the Falcons are in a very unique situation in sports where they have a very competitive roster and the ability to get a superstar rookie.
Right.
And so, I mean, they're in the Tim Duncan San Antonio Spurs position right now, in my opinion. And so, to me, that's more incentive. Is like, we have the ability to win, but how many years of Matt Ryan do you have realistically? Like 3, maybe 4?
So are you implying that they should tank?
I'm saying bench Matt Ryan now.
Hell no. Not with the money he's making. Absolutely.
Dude, hear me out, and that's fine if you disagree. But hear me out. I'm saying you bench Matt Ryan, you get the number 1 overall pick, you draft Trevor Lawrence. As you said, it might be hard to get rid of his deal, but you do what you can. Maybe you can find a way to do that, even if you have to cut him, and then you can spend some of that money elsewhere. And then with a good coach and Trevor Lawrence and still a roster that's ready to compete, then you have a much better infrastructure moving forward.
Or let the season play out.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be top 10 in the draft, maybe top 5, depending on how things shake out. I get a guy like Justin Fields. I have Matt Ryan be my bridge quarterback, kind of sort of like what Aaron Rodgers is doing in Green Bay with Jordan Love, or kind of sort of like what Brett Favre did for him. I'll let Matt Ryan be my bridge quarterback. Yeah. In 2022, when his dead cap is manageable, I'll trade him. That way, I'll give Justin Fields at least 1 year to say, sit tight, kid.
Yeah. I get that. My problem is I don't like Justin Fields.
Well, I just brought up just a rookie.
I get you.
Even if Trevor Lawrence, I would consider letting Trevor sit in 2021 because I have so much money invested in Matt Ryan. I can't just have Matt Ryan sit on the sideline and he's making damn near $35 million.
Yeah. I mean,
it's so hard.
My background is I'm an NBA. Like I love the NBA in terms of the cap, salary cap stuff, analytics stats.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, honestly, my opinion was I thought Sam Hinkie was a genius with Philadelphia. Yeah. And there was some mismanagement in what happened. Their draft picks didn't always hit. I actually thought that they should have traded Ben Simmons instead of Jimmy Butler last season.
And Simmons right now.
Yeah, so they mismanaged it, but I actually think, if you're willing to get your hands dirty and you're willing to take your lumps, I guess, the payoff can be huge. And that's kind of my approach going into this thing is there's a rising sentiment that people are saying, it's actually better to draft a quarterback, have a very expensive team around him, and then when the quarterback's ready for an extension, you trade him and draft a new one. That came up when Jared Goff was ready for his extension.
Yes.
And I thought they should have. I thought they should have traded Jared Goff for a top pick and, drafted a young guy and see how that goes. So that's kind of more my orientation. But
here's the thing with that, though. I mean, you guys know that is a significant gamble to say, all right, we're going to just start from scratch. Because you can start from scratch and you can be exactly what the Jets are right now for 4 or 5 years. And they're putrid. They're just horrible. You can be what the Dolphins have been for a little while. It's such a significant roll of dice because I think when it comes to people look at it and say, okay, let's just start from scratch and get our guys in and then let's start over. You're really gambling on the fact that rookie quarterback is going to hit. What if he doesn't?
Yeah, that's true. Although I would say the Jets don't have Julio Jones and Todd Gurley and Calvin Ridley.
They don't.
Yeah,
they don't. But I just feel I honestly feel a lot more comfortable with bringing in my quarterback, whoever he may be, and saying, you know what, I want you to sit tight for a year because it worked for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
Hey, Matt Ryan was able to come in and win.
He was.
With a rookie head coach, too.
He was. But David Carr wasn't.
True. Well, I mean, yeah, he was playing with a high school team.
Eli had to sit for a little bit.
Yeah. I think it's risky to put everything on that, to start from scratch.
Aaron Rodgers sat for what, 3 years? 2 years?
Yeah. 05, 06, 07.
Yeah. It's hit or miss, man. I get what you guys are doing because you can definitely go to Joe Burrow route right now. And while the team is not great, Joe Burrow is looking pretty fine right now for a rookie quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I feel like if you go that route and you say, here's the keys to the car, Rook, drive us to where we want to go. And if he doesn't hit, I think that set you back another 4 or 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
It could.
Absolutely. Because you keep waiting to see, you're going to wait another year. Oh, this is the year he finally breaks out.
Kind of like what Chicago is doing right now. Man, is this the year going to hit? Is this the year Trubisky's going to hit? They're kicking the can down the road at some point. At some point, they're going to have to say, all right, you know what? Let's scrap this. It's not going to work. We need to get our guy in.
I get you. You're making great points.
I'm more in your boat, Eric. I think because look at what the Heat have done. I mean, they never really went the tank route, and they're in a position now where they're one of the future stars of the NBA. So, but in some cases it works, some cases it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
right. I mean, I get what you're saying too.
That's my thing though. Is are the Falcons even? Do I think that they can win 10 games next year with the right coach? Absolutely. Would I peg them as a preseason Super Bowl contender? No. And that's kind of my gamble is
they don't need to be.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm saying if you draft Trevor Lawrence, you're able to free up some cap. You know,